Hey everyone, welcome to a Render Spaz video tutorial, and today we are going to create these wonderful looking high performance car tires here using TYFLOW and VDB operator. And why I want to do this is because this is just for speed more or less than it is meant for if you were to focus just on the tires themselves. For say if you're doing an advertisement or something like that, I wouldn't highly recommend doing this. I would just recommend actually doing it the traditional way, where you would build a tire with the tread and focusing on the quads and all that and making clean mesh. But for your speed and purposes of just getting these tires on your vehicles or whatever case or whatever you are going to use these tires for, this might be a fast way to just kind of or just a more interesting way how to create some tire treads and doing it pretty quick using TYFLOW. So let's get into it, and I'm going to also show you some other images I've created here with the displacement. I've done some I just used a sidewall texture and added some displacement. But all in all, these tires are not too bad. I go through the process of just creating a simple material for the tires for this tutorials just for speed purposes. But other than that, I just wanted to show you guys just one technique here and how you can use VDBs to create some interesting tires. Alright guys, let's get into it, and yeah, see you there. Alright, so let's get started. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over into the object type here. We're going to click on cylinder. Okay, or actually let's do tube. Let's just drag this out like this, and let's get a little bit of the thickness, bring it up. Okay, we're gonna go to our angle snap here and just have it go to 90 degrees. And let's set our pivot here. Okay, we're just going to center this guy out like so. Just bring it up. This just sits on the Z here onto the grid. Okay. And right now, let's just kind of bring in the height a little bit more here, or something like this. We'll center this. Okay, and let's just now Alright, so now what we're going to do now is let's take down our height segments to 1, and let's bring our sides up to maybe 56 or so. Let's try that for now. And I'm gonna create a editable poly stack here, and we're just gonna double click on each edge here. Same with this as well. Here, and then we're gonna hit chamfer. So we kind of round off the corners a bit here. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to select this inner edge here. We're just going to bring this out slightly. Same with this one. We're going to hold, we're going to double click on this edge, and we're going to chamfer, just to get a little bit of a nice bit of detail here. We can make it a try. Let's just kind of come like this. Make it go like that. Same with this side here. Chamfer as well. We have something like that. So that's going to be our outer part of the wheel in here too as well. Maybe we want to round it off here as well. That's fine. We'll hit chamfer on both of those edges. Like so. We're going to focus on this part. Okay, so now we have something like this. So what we want to do is let's get a start by adding in our TYFLOW. So I'm going to come over to TYFLOW here, and we'll just drag one out. Let's go open editor here, and what we want to do is we want to go over into VDB. So we're going to birth VDB, okay, and we're going to also add an object to VDB on top here, or on the bottom, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the cylinder or the tube here. Okay, and we're going to get now, as you notice, we're going to get our voxel grid here. This represents how many voxels that are being used here to create this is spacing pretty much of how dense our voxels are right now. So right now we have it kind of like this, where it's looking a little bit muddy, and we have to increase that. So let's go over into our voxel size, and that's where everything's going to kind of change here. So what I want to do is just get a little bit easier view here. So what I want to do is I want to bring down these voxels, okay? So this way here we can start to really pick up some of those details. And what detail I'm looking for right now, try and hide everything here. I'm just going to try, I want to get, let's go to turbo smooth here. So I'm trying to get this detail where I have these nice edges added in, and I want to make sure that it's picking it up here as well. And so in order for us to get that, we're going to have to bring our voxels even lower. So now you can start to see it starting to come through. So that's pretty cool. So right now, let's get something. Now we got to be careful, because the lower we go, we could crash the machine. So let's go to like a 0.5 for now. Let's just say that. And so right now we got it's very dense, and that's okay. Okay, we're gonna get through that later, where we're gonna start to simplify the mesh a little bit more and make it a little bit more optimized and all that. So right now we also have a lot of these edges, and we can smooth that out as well as we go. So right now, maybe even 0.8, just to have things go a little bit faster. All right, so now what we're going to do next is we need to create our tread. So to do that, okay, I'm just going to get rid of our TYFLOW object at the moment, or not get rid of it, but we're going to hide it. So actually, let's unhide everything here and then hide our TYFLOW. And what we're going to do is go to our front view here, and we're going to design what our tread wants to look like here. So what I'm going to do is, here, let me just get, let's bring in pure F here. So I kind of want to tread something like this, where we have these lines coming through. So right now what we can do is create these three lines that go through the base of the tire here. So let's do that. Actually, because that's a simple pattern, we can put it in our base mesh here. So we'll hit ring, connect. Let's do it 3 times here. 2, 3. Okay, something like that. Add chamfer. Let's get this going out a little bit like so. Okay, I'm gonna actually just grab these guys here. Let's hit ring. So now we have it like this. We're gonna hit. Let's do bevel. We want to go with. Sorry about that. Going a little fast here. Let's go to bevel. And we want to go to local normal. Let's bring this down. And bring it just slightly like this. And let's add one more. And then something like that, okay? This way, when we bring back our, let's bring back our VDB. Okay, everything should be updated here. Okay, and it is. So that's great. Okay. So what we can do now is add these little extra areas here where we got these kind of these little indented. I don't know what you want to call them, but pretty much the grooves here that we want to, the tread, this section of the tread. Okay, these little swoops, we're going to put them in, and then obviously there's like these little lines as well that we can add in as well. But let's get meat potatoes down here, which is these guys. Alright, so how do I want to go about this? Well, it seems like it would be pretty straightforward. We could use a line tool here, and we can kind of rough out how we want this to look. Okay, so I might want it to go like this, and then just kind of shoot out this way. Okay. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just refine this a bit, just so that it looks a little nicer. And maybe even swoops up like this. Slide it down. I'm going to reset this tangent. Okay, let's just say we do something like this. Okay, actually what I want to do, I'm going to unhide everything here. Let's just center this wheel. This to just center this out as well. Bring it about here. We want it to kind of cross over past, just a little bit past that groove there, so something like this. Okay. So as we have it kind of go like this, right, now what we can do is we can extrude this piece and just have it go like that into the wheel. Okay, and maybe I wanted to... Alright, so what we're going to do now is we need to make sure that we center this guy. So we're going to go to center of the grid. So we want to bring it like this. And then what we're going to do is we are going to shift, maybe something like this, 20 degrees, all the way around. Okay, 17. Looks pretty good. Okay. Once we have that, we can now mirror it over. So I'm going to hit world here. I'm going to go down and mirror it this way, Y, and make it a copy. And now what I'm going to do is select similar. Okay. Actually, and let's isolate these guys. And let's just make them one object. So I'm going to attach all these lines. So what we're going to do here is we can take this VDB here, the TYFLOW VDB. Okay, I'm just going to hide this out of our way for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these guys as a subtract. Right, so it's pretty much like a Boolean operation. We're going to pick it, go to our line here, and let's make this a subtract. Oh, I see. Sorry about that. What we're going to have to do is let's remove this. I got to go back into another object to VDB. I can hold shift and just drag down. I think I'll make a copy. Let's remove tire and let's make this a subtract. And what we're going to do is pick these guys here. And if you look now, there we have it. Okay. So we pretty much notched everything out. And that's pretty cool. That's it's pretty straightforward. Now, yes, right now it's a little bit rough looking, but we can smooth it out a bit. You know, for a tire that was made out of from a VDB, that's pretty neat. And this is, you could use this. This is very useful. But let's do a little bit more and add a little more detail. Now let's see what we can do to refine the mesh a bit more and smooth it out for final. So I'm going to unhide. And now we just need to create those little notches. Okay, so we're going to do it the same way. So there's little notches in here. So we're pretty much going to do it the same way that we did these parts of the tread, okay, these indents. So we're just going to go now in and let's do a rectangle here. Okay, let's go center of the grid or so. Let's put one about here. It's going to drag this guy out so we can see it. Okay, and then I'm going to extrude. So we get a little bit of a indent here, and I'm just going to actually angle it just a bit. Okay, it's up to you if you want to do that or not. I don't want it to be that deep, so let's just kind of bring it maybe something like that. And then what I want to do is come over to the rectangle itself here. Actually, make it a spline. Okay, and then we're just going to round these corners off. Great. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to maybe bring this slightly down here and then this one up here like so. Okay, roughly like that. Let's attach these guys. They're going to be on their own group here. Okay, and now I'm just going to center. And then I think it was 17 is what I can remember copies. So let's just shift. Okay, I'm just going to bring this up to 17 or so. Yep. And then we're going to select similar here. Same thing as last time here. Oh, let's see. Well, that's okay. So we'll grab these guys. Let's make it a group. Or attach them all, sorry. Then we're going to go over to world. Make a copy and attach these guys all together here as one. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come over here, we'll shift, drag down. Now we're going to create another object to VDB, remove, and we're going to pick these guys here as a subtract. So now, let's hide all these guys. Oh, I'm missing one. I think these guys did they intersect or no? No, they didn't. go to, let's see here, what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this up. Let's bring this inwards like so. Now I think they're intersecting now, so that should work, okay? It just has to update the model. There we have it. Oh, we got to get the other side. Okay. Let's see here. That's pretty good. Alright, so what we're going to want to do here before we start to add some relaxation to our tire here, I'm just going to make a copy of this TYFLOW here. So it's going to be called TYFLOW 2 here, as you can see. Okay, so what we're going to do is convert this to an edible poly, and we're going to keep our original as well, just in case we want to go back and change some of the tread or whatever. We just want to have our master here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hide this guy out so that it's not in the way. Okay, and we're just going to focus now on this copy here. All right, so what I want to do first is make sure that, let's center our pivot, okay, so that it's in the center of the wheel. I'm going to type in here mesh tire, just call it that, so we have an idea of what tire we're going to be working on. And so what I want to do now is focus on getting rid of some of those lines that you see across from the VDB. So we can do that by going into our modify stack here, and we're going to come down to look for TYFLOW or TYFLOW relax, relax. You can also use the standard relax as well. It's pretty similar to this. I'm just going to use the TYFLOW one. We're going to bump up we are going to bump up our iterations to 16. Okay, and then if you notice, we're at 2 million polygons for this tire, so it's yeah, it's a little much. So let's calculate and add a Pro Optimizer modifier on here. Okay, so we're gonna just have it analyze it here for a minute. It takes a second. Okay, 100%, and now what we're going to do is just take their vertex percentage here and bring it down to about 20%. That seems to do okay. We're not losing too much detail, or we're not getting too many artifacts. So we're down to 446,000 polys, which is a lot better than 2 million. I mean, basically you want to keep this as low as possible, especially if you're creating a game model or something like that. You want to keep that quite low. But it still takes, most of the details are still there. It's mostly preserved all of it, so that's good. Okay, and then, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to add some material to this tire, just so we can kind of see what it's going to look like if we were to apply some rubber and start working on the displacement for the sidewall as well, and just getting a little more detail in there just to see if this will really work, this VDB tire. All right, so let's do that. Let's bring in our render view here, and we're gonna just drag this up, get this in a spot where we can work with this right now. Maybe up here for now, put it in the corner. Okay. Go. Everything's running good. Okay, so I'm going to drag over the material editor here, and we're going to look for a standard surface material. And now we can just call this tire. Let's drag this over into our mesh here, and now let's kind of go with a dark, like a blackish, like a little bit more in the grays. Okay, and then just bring up some roughness just a bit here. Bring that a little more up. So, Okay, so now we can see we got a little bit. You can see the highlights here, and then we can just focus in on the normal, where we're going to add a bump map. So I'm going to go bump 3D. Let's drag out here as well, and we want to go with. Oh boy, why do I lose myself here? No. Texture. There it is. Noise. And now we got the noise applied. We just have to now bring down quite a bit of our scale. So let's go 10, 10, and 10. Let's try that for now. You can see, yeah, it's starting to kick in here. It's still looking not too great right now. So let's just bring in a little bit of this here. Let's just bring our amplitude down. It's 0.01, just should do it. Maybe amp our scale up a little bit more to 20, or I should say bring it down. And then just try to see. We just want a little bit of surface imperfection here. So I'm just going to kind of bring down. See what we get here. That's starting to look better. Right, I'm not going really in depth with the rubber material here. I just want to get something looking better than just having no bump map at all. And just kind of showing you guys roughly what it could look like here when we start to apply some material and texture. So I'm going to bring up. I'm going to copy the noise over and bring it into the specular roughness, where we can now just kind of break up some of that reflection. Okay, we want just a little bit, and we want it very subtle. I'm just going to play with a little bit with the settings here. See if I get something that looks a little more interesting. It's getting better. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see the breakup in there. That's starting to look good. Now we're very glossy right now. So what I'm going to do is come in here and just add in a, I'm looking for a range modifier. This will help me when it comes to controlling some of the contrast of the noise map here. So if we go to our output minimum, we can bring that slightly to about 0.2, and you can see now we're starting to really dial in that noise map with the range modifier. Or sorry, the range node. Alright, so if we look at the on the surface here, we can see there's some breakup. You know, it's a little bit bumpy still, but for this sake, I don't think this is looking too bad. You're not going to really notice that when it's when this is on a vehicle, this wheel. So that's looking pretty good. Right, we got a little bit of roughness going on there, some breakup. I'm sure once the render refines a little bit more and our denoiser starts to come more crisp, we'll see more of those details. But what I'm going to do now is use just a simple a sidewall texture, which you can find. You can just Google these and you can get a bunch of different types of textures of different brands. And for this sake, I'm just going to drag it into our color, our base color node here, and that way I will be able to see it here in the UV map. So I add a UV map to our tire. I'm going to come down, make sure it's set to Y. Okay, that's working. We hit fit, and look at that. It gets right, nice fit. That works pretty good. You can see it kind of just goes over a little bit of our tread on the top, but that's okay. All right, this is just to show you, give you guys kind of an idea what you can do. I'll take the tiling off, and now we can unplug that. And let's go into the tire mesh here and add in a, we're looking for, Arnold's properties. There we are. And we're going to come up and find our displacement. We're going to enable that. And we're using our map. And then we're just going to drag this tire sidewall map into, as an instance, into the slot. And there we have it. So it's very strong at this moment. But one thing I do want to address here is we have a warning. So with this warning, it's saying that our padding is not correct. And they recommend, they'll give you a number here. And so I just like to do is copy this guy. What I like to do now is paste it into our bounce pad here, okay? And that's gonna that should remove our warning after we clear our logs, okay? So once we do that, we should be in the safe zone here. So our height, let's go with 0.1 for now, and then we can just kind of dial it back, maybe too strong, so we can kind of, let's see here, play with the settings a little bit more, 0.05, maybe something like that. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. It's a little strong still, but it's way better than 1. So let's go 0.01 and see what we get. Yeah, that would work as well. I might want a little bit stronger, so just so I can really see the detail from afar. So let's maybe do 0.02. All right, get something like this. I'll just drag this out, and let's just kind of play around and see how our tires look. Right, that's pretty straightforward. That's looking pretty good. I know if I put a rim on this tire and I put this on one of my vehicles, I feel that it's going to hold up pretty well. Even for some close-up shots, you know. As long as I'm not doing a tire ad or anything like that. If I was doing a tire ad, I would definitely do the traditional modeling of a tire. But for speed and putting this on a vehicle if you have an animation, I feel like the VDB tire is pretty cool. Make some interesting models with this. All right, I think we're pretty good. I'm just kind of playing around a little bit with some more of the settings here. Maybe one a little bit darker in the color here of the diffuse, and bring down just a bit of the specular. Something like that. So it's, it's not too strong. But wow, that's looking really cool. That was it's very fast to model a tire like this. I just thought it was really cool. You can use VDBs to create some interesting tire patterns, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see here we got some detail. It's a little bit soft here in the grooves. Those horizontal grooves there, or sorry, the vertical grooves. I would like them to be a little bit more sharper, but for now, this is not too bad. What I'm going to do now is rotate. I'm just going to set up a fun little render here quickly. And just rotate, bring out a tire and rotate it 90 degrees, like that. Bring it down. Just kind of get it where it'd be on the floor. And we can add a plane. Like that. Just something very simple here. Instead of looking at a black background, we can kind of make it like it's sitting on the floor here, just to kind of display them a bit here. Get some different angles. I'll scale it up a bit. Alright, so that's looking pretty cool. I just might have to, it's a little dark right now. We might have to bring up the exposure a bit, play with the render settings. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm going to just select our Arnold light here. That's going to be our HDR light, Sky Dome. I'm just going to slide these guys over. I'm going to drag our OSL shader in. And our exposure, like we can bring that up maybe a little bit, just to kind of just see what's going on. Maybe rotate the light around just to see if we can get some nice light hitting the sidewalls a bit. Just gonna move this all around just to see where the light looks good here. Alright, well, you know what? Let's give it a render. Alright guys, there we have it. We have rendered a beautiful looking sports tire using TYFLOW's VDB operator, and I gotta say, they turned out pretty cool. I mean, it's a little bit rough on certain areas, but when it comes to speed and you're just trying to get out a tire that you can use for your vehicles, even if it's just in a work in progress stages and you just need a wheel on there, that's pretty cool. And also, if you need it just for, you're not really focusing on the tire itself, but even for close-ups, I think this is pretty good. I would actually use this tire on one of my vehicles myself, so I'm actually going to probably do that. But I hope you guys learned something from this, and you can create your own tire treads and all that. And even though that it's complex sometimes, doing a VDB tire like this might help. It just might help you in a certain situation, or if you just want to create some interesting looking tires. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more RenderSpaz tutorials in the future, as I got some great product coming very soon, which is the Car Studio Kit, and I'll be stay tuned for updates actually on that. They'll be coming soon as well. So I know a lot of people have been asking me about Car Studio Kit for a while, and now I'm buckling down and trying to get that finished. But I will also keep you guys updated with more tutorials on this YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Thanks guys.